Here's what happens when Vampire Survivors and The Binding of Isaac have a potato kid with a sense of humor. Exactly, Brotato, a piece of art as you might expect. For me, Brotato flew completely under the radar. I missed the release last month somehow and I don't see a ton of people talking about it. Someone from the Discord brought this indie gem to my attention, which is great, but more people should hop on, I feel, and hopefully this video gets you excited as well. At least a little bit, because this game is just brilliant. Whether you look at the art design, the humor, the gameplay elements or the music, it's all kinda strange, it's beautiful and it's only $5. And it runs great on the Steam Deck. Hey everyone, welcome to my early access review of Brotato, which has the sole purpose of making you buy this game and play it. I'll tell you why it is good, why it's fun. I bought it myself as well, spent my own $5 on it. I didn't regret it and I don't think you will either. First things first, the options. There are a few, none of them are graphical, however. You can set basic stuff like screen shake, whether you want to aim with the weapons yourself, you don't want that. Some sound settings, accessibility to tweak the game to your liking, which I didn't touch, and some more gameplay options. Very simple, very basic. For me the game ran absolutely flawlessly in 1440p. Also on the Steam Deck, which has a much lower resolution, the game runs really well. Because you hardly have to control anything, especially on default settings, it is a perfect Steam Deck game. Everything is completely accessible with the regular controls, no touchscreen required, and Steam Cloud saves work between PC and the Steam Deck. I'm doing that all the time. There's another menu, a progress menu, where you can see which characters and items you have unlocked, plus the requirements needed to unlock them. Very useful, and all of these are tied to achievements as well. It's very similar in that sense to Vampire Survivors. What is very different, however, and it may not be shown here per se, is that in Brotato you don't upgrade your character or account outside of playing the game. While in Vampire Survivors or other roguelikes from time to time, you can purchase persistent upgrades that your character always has, in Brotato you cannot do this. All your upgrades are done in the runs themselves, not outside in some sort of menu. Alright, time to play the game. Every run starts with picking a Brotato, a character. There are various archetypes you can play, and what's cool about these is that they really push you in a certain direction. The Ranger, for example, can only equip guns and gets bonuses to ranged damage, while the Gladiator can only equip melee weapons. But there are many more characters, and some alter your playstyle completely. The Pacifist, for example, that does very little damage and gets resources for every enemy alive at each wave. It's a lot of running around, dodging, but a lot of fun too. Or the Engineer, that constructs turrets and mines and other gadgets, a bit like a minion build almost, in order to defeat the waves of enemies. The design here is excellent and you won't be disappointed at all in how many starting classes and weapon combinations you have. After you're done picking a character, you get to pick one starting weapon. You should already be looking for synergies here if possible, and you're off to the races. Assuming you use the default settings, your character attacks automatically as soon as the enemies are in range. Once killed, enemies drop green blobs, which you need to pick up to gain XP and level up. Sometimes a tree spawns, which drops fruits, like cactus fruit. They serve as health potions. Enemies also net you coins, which you can spend in between waves on various items. Every run has 20 waves, and at wave 20 there's a boss you need to defeat in order to complete the run. Or you need to let the timer run out and then you win as well. There are currently 5 danger levels, which are difficulty levels, making the enemies harder, spawning more of them and giving you less money to work with. I have so far only completed danger 3, I'm still trying to make it to danger 4 personally. I'm working more on getting a run completed with each archetype character, because that unlocks a special weapon or item, which then becomes available in future runs. That's already quite a challenge on Danger 0 in some cases. Once I then have my full arsenal available, I'll go back to tackling the highest difficulties with the most broken combinations I can think of. I currently have 14 hours in the game, by the way, for reference. Brotato has plenty of ways to mitigate damage, do damage and restore health. In between waves there's a cash shop where you can spend your hard-earned cash on items. You can reroll as well to get 4 new items, and the reroll costs increase after each use. The game offers tons of items honestly, some absolutely broken, some total dog shit, but all of them once again well designed, mostly balanced I suppose, and the huge variety keeps the game fresh and each run different. Finding fun ways to make items work together is the name of the game here, like spawning more trees and killing them in one hit, that's a great combination. Or stacking health and then getting items that do damage that scales with health. There are many routes here, making for a good build diversity. Every time you level up you gain 1 health point and you get to pick attributes. Both cash shop items and attributes usually come in 4 varieties or tiers: white, blue, purple and red. You get better options and choices here if you invest in the luck attribute, which I did a lot. Typically though, you'll have to make tough choices in terms of investment, because what you really need is a well-rounded character, or you won't survive the onslaught in the final waves, especially at higher danger levels. Talking about attributes a little bit, your character has an attribute sheet, which explains all of the attributes if you hover over them. Ideally, the attributes synergize with the weapons you pick or strategy you choose, but it is RNG after all, so you can get unlucky. Once again, you see a healthy variety here, and it's up to you to pick the attribute that works well with your character, your items and your weapons. For example, there are 2 ways to get back health, by either regenerating it or by lifestealing. Some weapons, the ones with the medical tag, have innate lifestealing, so trying to get this together with the lifesteal attribute is a very powerful combination, making you survive the fights with more ease. Lastly, let's cover the weapons, because they're in a league of their own honestly. Weapons are either melee or ranged, and some melee weapons have huge range, like the spear. Also, range is an attribute you can increase, making melee weapons practically ranged if you invest enough points. The game features a boatload of weapons, from primitive sticks to futuristic lightning swords, only unlocked after you beat the game with the mage. The fun part is of course to find the perfect combinations, but what's well designed here is that the weapons also have tags, and if you have more weapons with the same tags, you get additional bonuses. Because you can wear 6 weapons in most cases, you can mix to your heart's content and break the game with ridiculously strong characters, especially once you get the hang of it. Time for a small conclusion. To say I enjoy Brotato is underselling it a bit, because it's an incredible game already in its current state, in early access. I particularly feel it is addictive gameplay, that one more run feeling, the healthy amount of content and variety the small package already has, is what sells the whole thing. Add to that the ton of items, characters and weapons that make you play this game in truly unique ways, the music that makes the whole thing vibe, and the very accessible price of only $5, plus seamless performance on the Steam Deck. Most of all, it's just incredibly fun. It can be incredibly brutal if that's your thing, because the game becomes very punishing at higher danger levels. I guess what I want to say is, go play it. If you enjoyed this little video, consider subscribing. I make more of these, plus weekly indie news roundups covering the latest and greatest indie games. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye bye.